Hey there, Derek Rydall here, founder of the Law of Emergence and author of the best-selling books Emergence and the Abundance Project. And I'm, really honored to be with you today as we talk about how to stay up during down times. And, we are definitely in what appears to be some very down times. There's a lot of pain and a lot of fear, a lot of seeming loss of life, loss of jobs, loss of hope, loss of innocence. And there's also the fear of a lot more loss economically and psychologically. We're going through, as I talked recently, a great grieving. And it's really important to understand how to be with a downtime so that it doesn't take you down. How to be with a downtime so that it doesn't take you down, it doesn't cause you to create even more entrenched coping patterns, coping mechanisms, protective mechanisms, that you don't shrink to fit the situation. As I spoke about recently, there's two kinds of adaptation. One of them's good, one of them is very, very bad. The first one is evolutionarily. And that's where, through the law of natural selection, we adapt and life adapts. It creates conditions for the next iteration of the idea. So the bird starts off with one wing and then it eventually adapts and has two wings. So evolutionary adaptation is always about that which allows you to be stronger, smarter, better, faster, to survive and thrive more robustly. That's good adaptation. But the kind of adaptation that we normally do humanly is where we shrink to fit the condition, where there's an economic crisis and we go into fear and survival and we batten down the hatches and we shrink our options and we shrink our dreams and we shrink our budget and we stop investing in ourselves and our business, or perhaps in a relationship where there's a challenging time and you don't seem to be getting the love or the respect or the attention that you want, or the turn on, or whatever it might be. And so we shrink our expectations and we shrink our own generosity of expression. We stop giving as much. We stop loving as much. We stop respecting and appreciating our partner and ourselves as much. And on the other side of these kinds of adaptations, whether it's a physical challenge, an emotional challenge, a financial challenge, a relational challenge, on the other side, we're smaller. Our channels are smaller. We are weaker. Our muscles have atrophied. So we do not want during down times to go down. We don't, if the life gives us a small box, we don't want to shrink to fit it. We want to create a large box, a large sense and vision of possibility, and we want to rise to fill it. And so the first thing we definitely have to do is feel our feelings, right? We don't want to do a spiritual bypass. We don't want to deny the facts, as I also talked about recently, and you might want to check out the other trainings I've done here, because I'm covering a lot of subjects and topics that you may be going through and growing through right now. But we don't want to shrink. We got to allow ourselves to go through the grieving. We have to allow ourselves to have our heart break open. We have to be with the feelings, because those feelings, that energy and motion or emotion, is doing work on us. We have to go through those stages of grief, the denial, the anger, the bargaining, all of these stages, right? And come to a state of acceptance or surrender. But we're not accepting or surrender or acquiescing to the limited conditions. This is what I really want to drive home again today. And I've talked about this a lot recently, but it really can't be spoken of enough. That the great danger during a crisis, during a downtime, is that we go down with it, that we shrink to fit it, and we just get smaller and older and weaker until the life force is so stagnated that we just begin to break down and deteriorate. Whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, creatively, or otherwise. We don't want to do that, and we don't have to do that. You were designed to get stronger when things get tough. You are anti-fragile. And when the weight is too heavy, you don't look for a lighter weight or pray for a lighter burden. You pray to get stronger and you lift those weights, right? And whatever the challenge is, you look to give what appears missing in your life. If there's not enough love, validation, appreciation, respect, you don't shrink and give as good as you get. You look to activate those qualities in you, to fill yourself with them, and then to radiate and give them wherever you can. And then the circulation of that quality increases. You feel more respect, more love, more of whatever the quality is, and it begins to expand the boundaries of your territory, and then it begins to manifest. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. It comes from you. I really, really want you to get that point, that the whole of life, the whole of love, the whole of the kingdom of heaven, nirvana, whatever metaphor works for you, all power, all potential, all substance, all wealth, all health, all goodness that you could ever want, which is spiritual or qualitative, it's all in you. You are a divine power plant, and the power plant doesn't receive the energy. It doesn't even just have the energy, it generates it. And you are one with the source of all creation, and that means you have the capacity to generate whatever quality you want more of. More joy, more gratitude, more of a sense of faith, hope, grace, a feeling of being supported, a feeling of being abundant, a feeling of being powerful, a feeling like everything's working together for your good. You can generate that quality or those qualities no matter what appearance you're facing, no matter what condition. The conditions don't determine your destiny. Your state of consciousness does. And it's during these times when these times come so that we can anchor ourselves more in our true divine sovereignty. So we can discover that everything we think has been taken away, or that we're afraid is going to be taken away, or that we think is missing, was always in us. So we can get in touch not with the fool's gold outside, but the real gold, the real power, the real love, the real sense of connection, safety, security, support, wisdom. I'm telling you, it's in you, the imprisoned splendor. And when it appears to be lacking, you get to go deeper and connect with it. This is what all the great masters were teaching. And they always came along during great times of suffering or recessions, depressions, wars, calamity, enslavement. Why? Because that was when the people were meek, meaning they were available. Because the rich man doesn't enter the kingdom of heaven. The rich man, meaning those with a lot of attachments, those with a lot of possessions, those with a great egoic sense of personal power. When the ego is strong and it thinks it's got it all and it's the master of the universe and it's got the money in the bank and the cars in the garage and the mansion on the hill or the boy or girl on their arm and their business is booming, they think they've figured it out. Okay, that's why Jesus said it's easier for the camel to fit through the eye of a needle, which was a place along this very narrow passageway, than it is. He didn't mean literally a camel through a needle. It's the eye of the needle is the name of a place. Easier for that than the rich man to enter heaven. And so we're all rich men and women on some level, meaning we all have attachments. And during the time when the ego is shaking, that's when the master comes. I'm not saying I'm the master. I'm saying that's when the master comes. But this is the master teaching. And it's the master within you that's talking. The Christ within you, the Buddha within you, the Tao within you, the truth within you. This is the gospel. This is the God spell that wakes us up from the hypnotic spell of separation, lack, and limitation. The lie that we are separate from life. The lie that conditions outside of us have power over us. That's a lie. And the father of lies. The truth is that everything has been given to you. That whether there's $1 million in your bank or zero, you are still the same. You are still infinitely supplied and supported. Whether you're alone or in a relationship, you are still infinitely loved and companioned. Whether your body appears to be sick or healthy, you are still eternally whole, complete, and well. That's the truth. But the truth doesn't come into our experience, and we don't get free from these attachments except by practicing the truth, by desiring to know the truth, by doing the work to tap into the truth, by becoming a student of the letter and the words of truth, and by meditating and reflecting and praying and affirming the truth until we start to believe it, until it creates a new subjective pattern, until it becomes a new habitual program. Then our character changes. Our consciousness now is a broadcast of light and of love and of possibility and of truth. And that consciousness must begin to clothe itself in form. And then lo and behold, we call miracles. Lo and behold, we have healings. Lo and behold, there's new opportunities and relationships. Even in a desert, water will come from a stone. The waters will be parted. The manna will fall from heaven. Those great stories of ancient time are speaking not just metaphorically, but of a principle. That in down times, we can still go up. We can still be expanded. We can still be high in consciousness. And if we're willing to do that, we'll not only become free, like literally be walking around in joy and peace and power and a sense of prosperity and a sense of real possibility. But now we're tuned in to a station that's always playing. We're tuned into K-Rich instead of K-L-A-C-K, K-Lack. We're tuned into K-Joy instead of Killjoy, where instead of the blues playing, we have the beat of abundance and the symphony of success and the harmony of wholeness and well-being. We start to get the message of that broadcast. And it says, this is the path, walk ye in it. It says, this is who you are, this is why you're alive. And now all that are tuned to that broadcast find each other. Your perfect clients, your perfect partners, your perfect experiences and opportunities, both on the inner planes and the outer plane. This is how we grow ourselves through the challenge. We grow ourselves out of the challenge. We grow ourselves out of the hole. We don't dig deeper into it. This is how to stay up in down times. And so I really encourage you to look at what are you perceiving is missing, is lacking, is lost, or you're afraid it will be lost, or afraid it will never come. Make a list of those things and then identify what do they represent? What are the qualities of them, right? Like if it's a person, it's companionship, it's love. Maybe it's security and support. If it's money, it's abundance. Maybe it's also security and support, power and confidence. If it's a job, maybe it's a sense of purpose, meaning. And then begin to create your own affirmations. You know, I have all that I need to prosper. I am abundantly fulfilled, supported, safe, secure, totally loved and companioned. All of life is for me. All of life is within me. I am in my right work, right roles, right goals, right now, maxing out to my full potential on every level. I am deeply valued and respected on purpose, living a meaningful, rich, and fulfilling life. You see, you begin to weave a new story, weave a new pattern, and you use your words and you use your thoughts to tune your frequency into the broadcast of truth and life and abundance. And it may not feel good every time you do it. It may not feel true every time you do it. But as you keep doing it, the only reason you believe anything you believe and are getting the experiences you get is because of repetition. You just didn't realize you were repeating it, right? And so as you begin to do this, write down those qualities, create affirmations, pin them up around, take time and exercise your heart and your mind every day. I used to stand in front of a mirror and I would do these affirmations, what I call 3D affirmations, where let's say the affirmation was, I'm loved and I'm loving, all of my needs are met abundantly, everything is working together for my highest good and I'm on purpose. And then I would say, look in the mirror and say, yes, Derek, you are loved, you are supported and secure, all of your needs are met and you are on purpose. And then I would spiritually gossip about that, which comes from one of my mentors, Michael Beckwith, where I would then say, yes, Derek is loved, Derek is supported, Derek is on purpose. In other words, I would fill in those three dimensions of the inner voice. And I would just go around and around and around until I worked myself into an affirmative frenzy. And then I would sit down and meditate on the buzz, on that feeling tone. And I would feel it, and I would breathe it in and expand. And by the way, if you want to get help in energetically expanding the frequency, you can go to my website, DerekRydall.com, and go to the free resources and check out the VVR, or the Visualization Vibration Meditation. And that will help you activate this on a daily basis. Just go to the free resources. It's totally free. So that's what I would do every day in the midst of financial challenge, in the midst of relation or family challenge, in the midst of physical challenge. And as I did that every day, I began to notice that even when I wasn't doing it, suddenly there would be just waves of joy, waves of inspiration, waves of power. And then I began to notice that that inner self-talk was going on automatically now, the positive self-talk. And then I noticed I was acting differently. I was talking differently. I was seeing possibilities. The reticular activating system of my mind was now looking for proof and evidence of what I had been affirming. I'm supported, I'm loved, everything is working together for my good. I know who I am, I'm in my right job, right work, right relationship, right now, maxing out to my full potential. And then suddenly I would look at a classified section and something would light up. Or I would be reading a magazine, or I'd be talking to somebody and I would hear a conversation and I would tune in. And before I knew it, my life had gone to a new level where I was living that. This is not airy-fairy. This is reconditioning and reprogramming. And during difficult times, there is a potential to massively accelerate this process, so that you can be feeling more powerful, more expanded, more excited for your life, more awake and aware of the vision for why you're here, more clear on guidance and direction for what to do than you've ever been. Would you like that? If so, stay tuned into these talks. Check out my podcast on the Emergence podcast on iTunes, or more videos on YouTube. Let me support you in getting tuned in and tuned up to these higher energies and frequencies. And then as you do the work, share what are the qualities. Comment below, what are the qualities you're going to activate? What are the qualities you're going to begin to integrate and embody? What are the qualities you're going to begin standing for, you're going to become contagious with, you're going to become a carrier and a super spreader of? What are the qualities? Write it down. What's missing in your life, apparently? What is the quality of it? Begin to activate it, own it, fill yourself with it, give it away willingly. And watch as your feelings, your thoughts, and your words, and then eventually your actions and your experience begins to be up-leveled. I'm telling you what I know for sure. It works if you work it. This is how to stay up during a downtime. And as you build the habit now, moving out of this time and into other times and other challenges, you're going to be so much more resilient. You're going to have so much more soul stamina. I am so excited for you. I mean, I've never felt more on purpose. I've had rough days. I had a rough day today, but I did the work and I'm back, right? And I woke up this morning, I'll just say real quickly before I complete, and there was a voice just announcing in my awareness as I woke up saying, no appearance has power over you. And I was like, whoa. I felt the frequency and the fire and the electricity of the truth course through me. And that's what begins to happen. Life begins to live you. Life begins to take over. Life begins to do the heavy lifting. Life begins to transform you from the inside out to make you a worthy instrument for a mighty vision, for a legendary life, for a destiny of greatness. And yes, it'll pay your rent too. So I love and appreciate you. I hope this is supportive. Please comment, share with your loved ones. Let's make love go viral. Let's make hope go viral. Let's make inspiration and power and potential go viral. We are not alone, and this is not the end of things. This is not lights out. It's a timeout. It's a pause that refreshes. It's a chance to get still and recalibrate and then take it to a whole new level. It's a setback that is a setup for a comeback. I'm telling you. So until next time, remember to live authentically, to love unconditionally, and to follow your destiny. Stay inspired.